What is Responsible Gambling Awareness Week?
Responsible Gambling Awareness Week is held every year. It's just to raise awareness about responsible gambling and to educate people about the nature of gambling, the potential for harm, and where to get help if you do run into trouble.
What is responsible gambling?
So the term responsible gambling refers not just to the responsible consumption of gambling by consumers, the people who gamble, but it's also about the responsible provision of gambling. And that requires governments and industry to ensure that people can participate in gambling without harm.
Why do people gamble?
Most people gamble for a bit of fun and entertainment. You know, there's the excitement of possibly winning money. Most people can have a wee bit of flutter and really enjoy themselves without any kind of hassle or issues. It's just a bit of, the potential to win, maybe peppered in.
Has gambling changed over the years?
Yeah, gambling's becoming more and more accessible. I mean, with smartphones and the internet, people have a casino in their pocket and can gamble 24 hours, 7 days a week. Whereas before, you would have to get into your car and go to the racetrack maybe once a week or at the weekend. Nowadays, you just pull your phone out of your pocket and you can gamble on sports matches and dog races and stuff all over the world. People can be sitting gambling next to their wife and family and you wouldn't know. Also, advertising has changed a lot, that we're influenced to gamble more frequently. There's an explosion of advertising. You have it on TV, on radio, as we used to, but now you've also got it on your smartphone, you've got it on websites, you're getting emails asking you to gamble. So there's been unprecedented change.
For people who gamble, how do they gamble responsibly?
Well, there are 3 principles to keep in mind when you're gambling. The first is that you gamble for pleasure and entertainment, but you're aware of the likelihood of losing and you understand the risks associated with gambling. That means that you don't gamble, to make money, don't gamble to avoid problems, you're just doing it for a bit of entertainment. The second principle is to make sure that you always stay in control of your gambling. That means to limit your time, limit your money, never gamble what you can't afford to lose. You just gamble with your weekly entertainment budget. You don't spend grocery money or your rent money on gambling. And the third principle is always gamble in balance with other activities in your life, so that gambling's not the only thing that you do for fun and entertainment, and that you're not causing harm to yourself or to anybody else.
So what are some of the signs that you might have a problem gambling?
A lot of people run into trouble because they start gambling because they feel the need to. They're chasing losses, or they feel they have to win to pay a bill. Or a lot of people will gamble because they want that zone, just zoning out, not thinking, not feeling, just concentrating on their betting or on the poker machines.
So for somebody who might have a loved one who's a problem gambler, is there any signs that someone might have a problem gambling?
It's quite difficult to pick up. People will come and see me because they have no clue that their partner was gambling, because there's not a lot of signs. Like if you've got drug and alcohol, you notice, a person staggering around, or they're not feeling well, or they're losing weight. With gambling, it's more subtle, but there are some signs to look out for. If money's going missing, if any valuables about your house is going missing, if for some reason the person's always asking to borrow money. You can look at behavioural issues, but it's difficult to pinpoint behavioural issues because you don't know why a person's feeling down or feeling maybe angry. But often you'll have highs and lows that fluctuate because of their wins and losses.
So where do you get help if you think that you've got a problem?
The gambling helpline is your first go-to place because they can refer you to any gambling help services in New South Wales.
So what services does Gambling Help provide?
Well, Gambling Help, number one, they provide the gambling helpline. That's a telephone advice service that runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you can call that number for any crisis help and immediate information and assistance. Then they will refer you to services in your local area. We provide face-to-face counselling for people who gamble, for their family, friends who are affected by that gambling. We have financial counsellors. We also have multicultural and interpreters, and we can refer you to Aboriginal service specific, that's RGAW, and we can also refer you to legal help.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the counselling that people have when they come and see a gambling help counsellor?
Counselling is totally free. All the counsellors are registered counsellors or psychologists. Gambling is our main focus. We'll obviously counsel around addiction and we look at the triggers and the urges that get people to gamble. But we also explore the context of gambling. Like we look at why are you gambling and what are you getting out of gambling? You know, are you avoiding problems? Are you lonely? We also work with family and friends because quite often family and friends are caught between a rock and a hard place. You know, the person who gambles can be angry, manipulative, and demand money. You know, how do you say no to a person who says, well, I can't get to work because I have no petrol? So, you know, we teach about boundaries, assertive communication, and just so that family and friends can get to a place where they feel okay with how they deal with the gambling problem.
If you or someone you care about is impacted by problem gambling, you can contact the Gambling Helpline on 1800 858 858. There are 3 gambling help services on the Central Coast of New South Wales, and those are Gambling Solutions, PM Counselling